Thank you. I'm starting first because I misunderstood the rules of the game. I'm not actually a brave person, but but also, as you can see by this jacket, I do really like attention and being memorable. And that's partly because I confirmed a couple weeks ago that I have borderline personality disorder. And I was really hoping that it would be something else, something more marketable. And when the first therapist told me she thought I had it, I got so offended and mad at her, and I started crying, and then I left the office and slammed the door and sent an angry email and was like, I do not have this. And then I realized that's exactly how someone with borderline personality disorder would respond. So as a kid, I didn't know I had this. I just knew that I was an awkward kid who had trouble making friends. I would stutter and I would tremble. So I learned how to mask that. And I think I overcorrected because now when I go to events or parties, people see me and they think I'm this calm, cool, composed woman. And so they want to start a conversation with me. And they end up regretting it. But through trial and error, I've learned not to lead with the fact that Jeffrey Dahmer and I actually were babysat by the same woman. Her name was Mrs. Nimmer. But I learned that you probably shouldn't tell that to other parents at your child's school right away. So I've learned how to keep it a little bit more simple and just talk about work. And one of my most interesting jobs was being a talent production assistant. And what that is just you're basically a glorified babysitter to celebrities, and you get yelled at a lot for doing anything at all. And so I started in the industry as an unpaid intern on Portlandia. And the first week was just like prep work, and I was walking around the building, avoiding working, and then I see this guy who seems kind of cool and nice, so I wave at him and we exchange like a couple words. And I hate SNL and I hate improv and sketch comedy. So when I said hi to this guy, I didn't realize it was Fred Armisen. And so, and I do get anxious telling stories about this because Portland is so small, and I'm afraid one of you are his friends and may go home and tell on me and be like, Fred, FYI, there is a Black African woman of color going around talking shit. But I know you probably won't do that, but the anxiety is still there, so I hope you appreciate my bravery in telling this story. So there I was in the hallway with Fred, and like most people, he mistook me for being this calm, confident, capable woman. And he needed another personal assistant at the time, so he decided to hire me. And he very quickly regretted it because I am the worst talent PA. And for example, I learned that I needed to drive Fred and Carrie to set one day, and I'm a terrible driver, and so I don't want to be responsible for the loss of someone's life and have yet another thing in common with Jeffrey Dahmer. That would be pretty bad. So, because I'm a very conniving person sometimes, and I'm also pretty filthy, I just left my car as messy as possible. And I wanted Fred and Carrie to have such an off-putting experience in my car that they would never ask again. And my plan worked, and they didn't like me. I don't think anyone on set liked me, but I was also miserable because I hate sketch comedy, and I felt like I was in hell. But of course, sometimes you meet cool people when you work in TV. And like one time, Damian Lillard came to set, and he brought with him his manager, Eric with a K. And Eric was in his late 50s, and he took a liking to me. I didn't reciprocate because he was in his late 50s, and I was 27. So I was like, I'm not interested, but I let him put his number in my phone. A couple weeks later, I ended up quitting because I'm a bad actress, and I couldn't fake laugh one more day at another joke. So I quit, and I got different jobs, and I started juggling a lot, and I don't have a lot of time because I'm always working and juggling stuff and hustling. So I don't have time to clean my car or date, and so that means sometimes I end up backsliding and texting an ex. And so one night, I was really drunk and lonely and just feeling low. So I thought about which ex was the least annoying, and it happened to be a guy named Eric, so we started sending texts back and forth. And it was a little bit ago, so I had never done this before, but I decided to reward him, and send him some nudes. So I sent them, and I got a very enthusiastic, wow, amazing, but I think you have the wrong person. And as my soul left my body, I realized I didn't text my ex, Eric, who spelled his name with a C. I had sent nude pictures to Damian Lillard's manager, Eric with a K. What I learned from this is how important it is to love yourself and have self-confidence. And because if I did, I probably wouldn't have ended up dating or trying to date an ex again that night. But I did start to learn this, and I earned just enough confidence to where tonight I can stand in front of you as a capable, calm woman. Thank you.